Hi, today we're going to do a simple upgrade, and I want to try to do this in 4 little video clips. The first phase will be to identify the components that we're going to change out. So, when you open your box, you're going to have a USB PCI card, and be careful not to handle it anywhere on the electronic portion because they're electrostatic sensitive, so we handle it on the edges like this, but we don't touch these components. The second component is the hard drive. Again, don't touch the circuitry, but you can handle it on the edges. Be careful not to touch anything here. Now the hard drive will have 2 connectors that you'll need to be concerned with. You don't have to touch these jumpers, but there's a 40-pin cable which will only go in correctly one way. You see how it's notched? And you have to be careful not to bend the pins, but it will go in like that. And then the power connector, which only goes one way. You can see how it's tapered on one side, and it will go in just one way. All right. You're not going to use this. I'm just using it as an example to show you how this connects. The one in the computer will be a little different. Now to identify the components, make sure you have a Phillips screwdriver, preferably with a magnet that'll hold the little screw so you don't drop it inside. To open the computer, lift the handle and then drop the door down like this. And now we can see inside. Now we're going to identify the components that I mentioned earlier. And the first is the PCI USB 2 card, and it has a Phillips screw securing it to the motherboard. Secondly, there is a Phillips screw on top of the drive cage. This is a tricky one, and if your driver is good, you can reach in, and you don't have to use great force. These are barely finger tight, and then remove that screw. Okay, now we're ready to go on to the next phase.